coming on here to give my thoughts on TNA making the announcement Monday that they are moving TNA Impact to Monday nights to go head-to-head against Monday Night Raw. And the time slot is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to give my thoughts on that. But before I give my thoughts on that, I just want to plug two things. The first one is a YouTube channel, Cool Nerd 2736. Started up a new YouTube channel. It's Cool Nerd TV. This is what channel he's going to be doing his wrestling videos and his wrestling thoughts for now on. So go and subscribe to him if you were subscribed to his previous account. And if you weren't subscribed to his previous account, check him out, subscribe to him. He makes very good videos. And then the second thing I want to plug is a video I did earlier with Matt Loves WWE and TNA on Skype, and he put it up on his channel. It's pretty much just a little interview type video where it's 10 questions where he's just asking me 10 questions, wrestling related questions. So I'll put the link for both of those in the description. Subscribe to Cool Nerd TV and check out the video I did earlier with Matt Loves WWE and TNA. But now let me get into my thoughts on TNA permanently moving TNA Impact to Monday nights and what this means for the wrestling business. Now, the first thing I'll say is this is definitely good news for us wrestling fans to have two wrestling shows on Monday nights going head-to-head against each other. That's going to be the good thing. It's good to see competition in the wrestling business somewhat. Now, TNA is far from competing against WWE to the level that they're going to dethrone them, and I don't think they'll ever get to that level. The one thing that TNA needs to do is make sure on Monday nights just try as your main goal, try to make your wrestling show the more talked about show online and the thing that everyone's talking about the next day. Like, hey, did you see what happened on TNA Impact last night? Did you see, that either good storyline angle they did or that great wrestling match or something like that? Have it be the main thing people are talking about. Don't try to, do the exact same things WWE are doing, pretty much making your program WWE light and think that is going to be able to compete against WWE. You need to have an alternative. You need to be different from WWE. That's the thing that TNA needs to do. They need to find a good balance of the, using the veterans, but at the same time focusing more on the younger stars to please both sides, please the casual fans that might just be tuning in to see Ric Flair, Hogan, Jeff Hardy, or any other, former WWE star like Kurt Angle, and then, please the, us internet fans at the same time with, putting on good wrestling matches at the same time and focusing, on your X division. You need to really build that back up again. Make your women's division back into what it used to be. Make it into a division that was better than the Divas division, not just something that's nothing more than a cheap ripoff, not even cheap ripoff, but pretty much the exact same thing as the women's division in WWE, and a good mix of veterans and young guys and new established names in the main events, which they are kind of doing now a little bit with AJ being champion and the Pope D'Angelo Nero getting a world title shot at Lockdown, so I got to give them a little credit there, but they could be doing a little better as far as TNA, especially like the Nasty Boys. I don't think someone like them in this era in time in wrestling, I don't think anyone cares about seeing them. The one thing that I would say about TNA moving to Monday nights is, like I said, it's good for us wrestling fans. It's going to be good for competition. But the one thing that's kind of bad about their decision is not moving to Monday nights, but the time slot they chose. At this point in time, the time slot for Monday nights for TNA Impact is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that means TNA Impact is going to be going against Monday Night Raw for both hours, which I think is a terrible move and decision for them to do. They should have had the show on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so they would have 1 hour where they won't be opposed to WWE, and they would actually, with the first hour not competing against WWE, it would average out to a good overall rating, whereas it's going to be harder to get, a good overall rating with competing against WWE for both hours, because the one thing is, as bad as Raw is, and I'll admit Raw is completely garbage and terrible, and ever since this guest hosting thing, Raw has even been worse than what it was before. But the thing is, people need to understand is, no matter how bad Raw is, Raw for the most part can put on the most terrible product, the most terrible show, but the sad thing is they can do anything on that show, but because it has the name WWE as the company and the brand Monday Night Raw are so well known. No matter what they do on there, they'll always at least get a 3.0 unless something dramatically happens to them where people, go to TNA because TNA is putting on a better product. Like I said, with TNA's main focus needs to be is just put on the better product. Don't try to compete against WWE because that will fail. If you try to put on a better product, that might succeed. It might succeed to the level that I don't think you'll be able to go head-to-head where it's going to be a ratings war every week. But maybe if you do enough stuff to make yourself seem different than WWE, maybe you could elevate yourself to at least get in the range of a low 2.0 or a 2.2 type rating, or at least close to a 2. Whereas if you try to be exactly like them and try to compete with them with doing the same type of stuff they do, that would fail. So just wanted to kind of come on here and give my quick thoughts on TNA moving to Monday nights. Like I said, it's good for us wrestling fans. It's good for competition, but as far as the time slot, that's the main problem and gripe I have with it. And the other thing is, it might be a little too early for TNA to move to Monday nights, because the one thing is, I think TNA should have done was have maybe a couple 3-hour live Impact tapings maybe every month for a couple months, and then by the end of the year or early next year, then you get to the level where you have Monday night Impact, TNA Impact on Monday nights then. So it's going to be interesting to see nonetheless, and I'm interested in seeing what TNA are going to be doing on March 8th. Now, at this point, it seems like they got one match announced, which is going to be AJ Styles and Ric Flair teaming up to take on Hulk Hogan and Abyss. Now, this match, I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular or anything. Abyss and AJ Styles will work very good with each other. Hogan and Flair, as much as I like Flair, obviously a lot of people already know I dislike Hogan, but I like Flair a lot. Flair and Hogan just need to hang it up. They can do something in the wrestling business. Like Ric Flair, what he's doing with AJ now, managing AJ, is working out very good for TNA and AJ Styles, because it's really making AJ Styles seem like a main event type talent. And really, with Ric Flair being with them, could help, casual fans to say, hey, let me give this guy AJ Styles a chance. And Hogan, I don't mind Hogan being on TNA programming or anything like that, but he just needs to step out and, don't get back into the wrestling ring or anything like that. Hopefully they won't go to the level where he tries to go after the TNA World Heavyweight Championship and defeat AJ Styles or something like that, because that would be one of the worst decisions for TNA to make. Even as big as Hogan's name is, that will turn off a lot of fans, I'm pretty sure, if they do something like that. And Flair and Hogan within this match are probably not going to do much with each other. I think what they'll do is them two being in the match are pretty much just to give focus to AJ Styles and Abyss, because a lot of people be like, hey, this is the first time Ric Flair's wrestled on TV, not counting his Australian tour with Hulk Hogan. This is the first time he's wrestled a TV match since WrestleMania 24. So that would be like, people would be like, hey, this is the first time Flair's wrestled since then. So that would draw a little bit. Hogan wrestling, no matter what his name will draw. So TNA might be putting on a main event that not necessarily is going to be great, but if they, focus good on AJ Styles and Abyss in that match and just use it as that type of match where Flair and Hogan are just in there to get focused to them, it could work out. And it could be one of those matches that could draw fans in, because there's a lot of Flair fans and there are a lot of Hogan fans. So it's kind of smart for TNA to do that. I got to give them credit for booking that match, because it does, going to draw some fans into seeing Hogan and Flair in a match, and both of them are on opposite sides, and people would want to see that. But the one thing, like I said, the 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time slot, they need to change that and just go to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because it'll be better for that. And the other thing is, TNA Impact has stated that Impact is going to be live bi-weekly. So the March 8th edition, for example, will be live, and the next week will be taped, and it's going to go on that schedule, at least at this moment. Now, the only thing that I would say that would change their decision of going live every single week would be if, like, say, the edition of TNA Impact on March 8th, which is a live Impact, say that Impact right there scores a 1.8 or even higher than that, or no matter what, like 1.5, 1.6, maybe 1.8 or higher, and then the taped edition, which is on the next week, say that rating for that Impact is maybe a 1.3 and there's a dramatic difference in the ratings, then they would want to think about going live every single week. But at this point, with them, at this point, they just need to test that out, see how it does. If there's no dramatic difference in the ratings from the live Impact to the taped Impact, just keep it the same, and it's okay to just keep it like that. So just wanted to come on here and give my thoughts on TNA Impact moving to Monday nights. Like I said, it's a pretty good decision for TNA. I like it. It's going to be good to see two wrestling programs going head-to-head against each other. And it's going to be interesting and good for us wrestling fans. That's the best thing that's going to come out of this thing. Is TNA going to be able to compete to WWE's level and dethrone them or anything? No, I don't think anyone's actually thinking that. Maybe a few diehard TNA fans are thinking that could possibly happen, but I think even deep down inside, most of them understand that TNA is not to the level of competing with WWE at this point. Could they someday be at the level to compete against WWE? Sure, but not yet. At least at this moment, not yet. So just wanted to come on and give my thoughts on that. And go ahead and subscribe to Cool Nerd TV, like I said, and check out the video I did earlier with Matt Loves WWE and TNA. And yeah, that's it. Peace. Main goal: try to make your wrestling show the more talked about show online, and the thing that everyone's talking about the next day. Like, hey, did you see what happened on TNA Impact last night? Did you see, that either good storyline angle they did or that great wrestling match or something like that? Have it be the main thing people are talking about. Don't try to, do the exact same things WWE are doing, pretty much making your program for us wrestling fans to have two wrestling shows on Monday nights going head-to-head against each other. That's going to be the good thing. It's good to see competition in the wrestling business somewhat. Now, TNA is far from competing against WWE to the level they're going to dethrone them, and I don't think they'll ever get to that level. The one thing that TNA needs to do is make sure on Monday nights just try as your TV. This is what channel he's going to be doing his wrestling videos and his wrestling thoughts for now on, so go and subscribe to him if you were subscribed to his previous account. And if you weren't subscribed to his previous account, check him out, subscribe to him. He makes very good videos. And then the second thing I want to plug is a video I did earlier with Matt Loves WWE and TNA on Skype, and he put it up on his channel. It's pretty much just a little interview type video where it's 10 questions, where he's just asking me 10 questions, wrestling related questions. So I'll put the link for both of those in the description. Subscribe to Cool Nerd TV and check out the video I did earlier with Matt Loves WWE and TNA. But now let me get into my thoughts on TNA permanently moving TNA Impact to Monday nights and what this means for the wrestling business. Now, the first thing I'll say is this is definitely good news for coming on here to give my thoughts on TNA making the announcement Monday that they are moving TNA Impact to Monday nights to go head-to-head against Monday Night Raw. And the time slot is going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to give my thoughts on that. But before I give my thoughts on that, I just want to plug two things. The first one is a YouTube channel, Cool Nerd 2736. Started up a new YouTube channel. It's Cool Nerd